Hi, it's Nikki here from Happy Hormones for Life. And today I'm talking in general about the perimenopause. Now, there's a lot in the media and in general around the menopause at the moment. And this is a really good thing because more people are talking about it, more women are asking for help, and more women are generally getting supported with it, which is absolutely brilliant. But what we're really talking about is the perimenopause in most cases. It's that run up to the menopause that can be really, really tricky and can give us the worst symptoms. So today I want to just explain a little bit about the menopause, what it is, whether you might be in it or not, what are the drivers of it, and what you can do to gain control and sail through this period. So what is perimenopause? Well, this term has been around for a few years now, when we started to realize that the menopause, the actually official explanation of menopause is actually a year after your final period, and then you're in the postmenopausal period. Well, we've realized, there's a long time that runs up to the final period that we're calling the transitional years, and this is what's referred to as the perimenopause. It's the transition between your reproductive years, your fertile years, and postmenopause. And symptoms can include a whole list, including, fatigue, mood swings, irregular or heavy painful periods, PMS, brain fog, poor sleep, weight gain, hot flushes and night sweats, depression, anxiety, memory loss, hair loss, joint pain, low libido, vaginal dryness. The list goes on. This is just a fraction of what we could be feeling. And the thing is with it is that, when it can start from the age of around 35, because that's when your ovaries start to decline and run out of eggs, and you can skip ovulation and your hormones start to fluctuate. So if you think you might be perimenopausal, well, if you're over 35 and you're having any of those symptoms I've just mentioned, then yes, you are. And many doctors or people might tell you, well, you're too young, because mine happened in my early 40s and I'd never even heard of the word. But they're wrong, because as soon as your hormones start to change, if you're having symptoms, this is the transition period. This is the perimenopausal years up until your final period. Now, sometimes you'll get your FSH or LH tested at the doctor's to find out if you are perimenopausal, but actually all that's telling you is, the brain's pumping out a constant message for more hormones to be produced because you're underproducing. That's the nature of perimenopause. The test itself doesn't actually tell you much other than that you're in that transition period. Well, you kind of know that already, right? So it's actually much more useful to get your actual hormones measured, but I know that can be quite tricky. So what are the drivers of this? Well, of course, it's your age and the fact that your ovaries are running out of eggs. So egg quantity and quality are going to be declining. Ovulation is going to be more erratic. And this is going to be affecting the production of your estrogen and progesterone. It's not just about these two hormones, though. And if you've heard any of my stuff, you'll have heard me talk about the feisty four. And all four of them have a really big role in this perimenopausal transition. So firstly, we're talking about age and egg decline. We're also talking about stress. Now, stress is a major factor during this time, and it could be the difference between you sailing through these years or having a really turbulent time, because the effects of cortisol, your main stress hormone, can severely impact your energy, your mood, your brain function, your metabolism. But it also suppresses your thyroid, and it can really mess with your sex hormones as well. So it's going to make that transition worse the more stress and cortisol there is. Third one is thyroid. Now, the impact of stress, a poor diet where your thyroid's not getting enough nutrients, problems with your gut health or environmental toxins, they can all affect your thyroid, as well as age. Obviously, your thyroid is under a lot of pressure anyway. And with a low functioning thyroid, you can really exacerbate the perimenopausal transition and your symptoms. Fourthly is diet. Now, if you're not getting enough nutrients in your diet to make your hormones, to store them, to transport them, to eliminate them, or you're not absorbing those lovely nutrients, so you could be on a really good diet, but you're just not absorbing them very well, then your hormones are going to be affected. Blood sugar imbalance as well from a poor diet can massively increase insulin, and that can increase inflammation, and it can cause other hormone imbalances as well. Fifth is toxins. Now, I talk a lot about endocrine disrupting chemicals, EDCs. If you want to know more about that, just look for other videos and blogs. I've got a blog on this. Because these set of chemicals can mimic or alter your hormones, especially estrogen. and they can really impair your energy production as well. So they can do a lot of damage while at a time when you're going through this change that, you know, you really don't need that extra stress. Medications is another one. So certain medications can have a negative effect on your hormone balance and your symptoms, including the birth control pill, HRT, antidepressants, and steroids as well, amongst others. So, you know, you can be on medications for things, they can have an impact. Liver overload is the next one. So if the liver is struggling to produce and eliminate, you know, chemicals, toxins, alcohol, caffeine, medications, then the way it affects your hormones can be also impacted. Lastly, gut health. If your gut's not working properly, it can have a direct effect on your hormones and this transition. So many hormones are metabolized or converted in the gut. You can have food sensitivities that are causing inflammation, or you could have underlying gut infections that increase inflammation and also mess with your nutrient absorption. So your hormones aren't getting those nutrients they need. You know, I hear a lot of perimenopausal women who say suddenly their IBS is worse, or, you know, they have autoimmune conditions that flare up, or their skin flares up during this time. And that is a lot to do with the impact it has on your hormones. So what can we do? This is, you know, we need some good news. Now, obviously, there are medical options, HRT or other medications. However, if you don't want to take HRT, or if you can't take it for any reason, or if you are taking it, but you want to, you know, make sure everything's working properly, then diet and lifestyle foundations, they're going to be really beneficial, not just for your hormones, but for your future health. You want to get those foundations in place. So firstly, your diet. Obviously, we want to be avoiding any too much stress in the diet. So those processed foods, the vegetable oils, the sugar, too many refined carbs, obviously that's just a no-brainer, right? But also we want to be balancing your blood sugar, because the more on a roller coaster your blood sugar is, the more insulin you're producing, that's inflammation, the more stress the body's under, the worse your mood, your energy, and your weight's going to be, as well as your brain function. So all of that relies on really constant blood sugar. So we're nicely balanced. We want, you know, to stay away from those blood sugar surges. So that's lots of healthy carbs, fat, healthy fats, and protein on your plate, including lots and lots of vegetables. So that's going to help the blood sugar, and that's going to have a knock-on effect. Secondly, we want to be adding in lots of phytoestrogens. These are plant-based estrogens into the diet. So things like flax seeds. It's probably flax seeds are the most the biggest source of phytoestrogens in terms of food. Fermented soy as well, like miso, can be really helpful too. And these plant estrogens help to balance out your normal estrogen levels. And they can really help with hot flushes and night sweats as well. Thirdly, we want to be supporting your gut and your liver, because they have such a vital role during this time. So cruciferous vegetables are really, really helpful for this. They help with that liver detoxification and clearing out any excess estrogen. So those are your broccoli, your cauliflower, your cabbage, Brussels sprouts this time of year, get those sprouts in, chard and kale and rocket and watercress, all those lovely cruciferous vegetables really, really help with that. Hydration, obviously, you need to be fully hydrated to keep those bowels moving and get the hydration that your cells need to work properly. So make sure you're constantly drinking the water, reduce the alcohol a little bit to support the liver, and also a bit of caffeine reduction as well. That's just going to help your liver sort of get moving and clear things out. Include some probiotic foods that can really help support your gut flora and your digestive function. So things like kefir and kombucha and sauerkraut and live yogurts, things like that. Minimizing your exposure to these endocrine disrupting chemicals. So we want to be eating organic wherever possible to avoid those pesticides. You know, swapping out the BPA plastic to glass or stainless steel, and just avoiding or minimizing products that pump out those synthetic fragrances, you know, the scented candles and the air fresheners, because you're just inhaling those, and anything you inhale can easily go straight into the bloodstream. Fifth is activity. So we want to be not doing too much and not doing too little. So we don't want to be sitting all day long. We want to be moving. But what I really like is this new thing called NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. It means anything that is not sitting down and not sort of officially exercising kind of down the gym or going for a run. So it's anything in between. So it's like standing or walking or cooking or taking the stairs or gardening or anything like that. all of that really helps to support your metabolism during this time. So you don't have to sort of cane it at the gym or do anything like really insanity type exercise, especially if you're really stressed already, because that's really going to stress the body out for you. And it definitely won't help with weight loss if you're already stressed. Which brings me on to the number 6, which is de-stress and sleep. So managing your stress through this transition period is absolutely critical, because that's where the difference is between sailing through it and having issues in a lot of cases. So we want to be looking at, you know, doing some mindfulness, getting your Headspace app, getting your Calm app, and really just giving yourself 10 to 15 minutes a day of switching off that cortisol response, so your body has a chance to rest and recover. Getting enough sleep, really critical as well. Getting to bed a bit earlier, making sure your room's nice and dark, getting gadgets out of your room. It's like, it is not rocket science for sleep, but you just got to get these healthy habits in place. And, you know, things like magnesium really help with sleep, but also just taking that time for the body to unwind before bed. I don't think we do that justice enough. And lastly, getting appropriate tests done. If you're doing all these things already, it's not working, you're still having symptoms, we need to find out why. Now, you can get certain tests done at the GP, but check out my test videos and blogs for a bit more detail on this. Haven't got time to go into that today. If you want more detail on the testing that we do, including hormones, sex hormones, thyroid, cortisol, blood sugar markers, and key nutrients, then do get in touch, put a comment underneath, or go to the contact page on the website, and we will get you set up with a call and find out what's right for you. Thank you for listening today. Have a great week. I hope that was helpful. Take care.